We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Detective Comics issue 38. This is from the 1937 series that introduced Batman, and I have the Facsimile edition from 2020, published of course by DC Comics. This issue introduces us to Robin for the first time, Dick Grayson, and the story itself is not the entire issue. It's really only about the first tenth of the issue. We get to see what happens to the Flying Graysons and how Batman goes about finding out who did it, and how they bring down the person involved. It's not a long story. It's very, very compact, very compressed, much different than the way comics are done today, where this would have been a 6-issue series and there would have been a lot of eating and talking. They don't mess around with that. They cut straight to the chase. By like page 4, the kid's Robin. Then we also have a whole bunch of other shorter stories. One called Spy, which was pretty good. That was by Jerry Siegel and Maurice Kashba, about a secret agent who comes across somebody that has a lightning gun. That's another very compressed story, but that one was pretty fun. Red Logan, which I think is uncredited, that one had pretty weak art and a story I didn't really care too much about. The Crimson Avenger is in here as well by Jack Leedy. That one was pretty interesting. The Crimson Avenger was an early superhero type, and he fights some generic bad guys. That one's okay. You've also got a book review, then you've got a Speed Saunders story called Kidnapped Singer by Fred Gardner, and obviously that is about a woman that's kidnapped, and it's got Speed out on the wing of an airplane. So it's a bit unrealistic, but it was pretty interesting. It was fun. Then there's Steve Malone, District Attorney by Don Lynch. Again, another kind of generic bad guy one, a detective type story, but kind of boring. Not too bad, but definitely not the worst one in the book. Cliff Crosby is another one. That one had some, what today would be called racist interpretations of people of color. I didn't care for that one. I thought it was kind of boring. There's a short story called The Case of the Vanishing Train. That was kind of a throwaway. Slam Bradley by Jerry Siegel and Dennis Neville was also in here. I thought the one character looked really weird. He's sort of a small person, and Slam Bradley's a private detective. This one was okay. The one character's just freakish looking, but it's about them saving somebody from a fire, and that was an okay story. I enjoyed that one a little bit. All in all, though, it was a really nice throwback to see comics from a much older era and what they were like. Sure, you get the Robin introduction in here, and it is on the cover, but it's far from really the main story. It's just the first story in the book. And it's probably the best selling story of all these characters, because there's probably some you've never heard of. The Crimson Avenger got dusted off a little bit in the 80s for a minute, and every now and then he'll be referenced in Batman as one of the inspirations and early vigilantes of Gotham, but that's really not even addressed in here, and he looks completely different. But there were a few standouts. The Crimson Avenger story was good. The Batman story, of course, was great. Spy was good. The rest were kind of mediocre or just dated for their time, but the art styles are definitely wildly varying throughout the book. Some of them are good, especially for the time period. They really have that kind of same art style from the Art Deco era, and it really dates it, but it's a style that's very simple and very straightforward and does kind of work for the book and the stories. So I really liked the Batman story overall. I thought it was a little dated and goofy, but it was still fun to read. And the art style is a very unique style that is probably something we're missing nowadays, where it was simplistic art, but it got the point across at the same time they were having fun with it. All around, this was definitely worth the $4. There's a lot more to this issue than probably 2 or 3 regular comics. So for the same price, I would say it's absolutely worth checking out. It's a great historical piece from DC Comics, and I would love to see more of these reprinted, because a lot of these we've never had the chance to read before, and I thought I had read this years ago, but I don't think I did. So it was definitely worth checking out, and I really, really wish they would reprint all of the old Detective Comics books from this era. The pre-Batman ones especially, I would love to see what those are like, but they really don't reprint any of them anymore, mostly out of fears they're going to get called racist or istophobes or whatever. But if you get a chance to check this out, absolutely do it. It's a great piece of nostalgia and history that is frequently overlooked by fans. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel in other ways, links to my Patreon, Streamlabs, and Teespring store are in the description. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.